Hello, this is Brian Albright, Editorial Director at Digital Engineering Magazine. Welcome to the DE 24/7 podcast. I'm here today with Greg Paulsen, Director of Applications Engineering at Xometry, one of the leading companies in custom and on-demand manufacturing. And we're going to be discussing some of the issues around those types of services. Welcome to the program, Greg.
Hey, Brian, it's awesome to be here. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, my first question is right now, what sorts of market trends are really driving interest in these types of on-demand manufacturing services? And, what types of customers are likely to be interested in taking advantage of those services and the types of capabilities that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. And, manufacturing is just a giant industry. And it typically works when, you're looking to get a part made. You're usually sending out a email blast to some providers that you may be looking for, and you kind of play the waiting game and you wait to hear back. And again, in typical manufacturing, the way it's been, when you hear back, it's not everybody gives the same price back and you're making a decision because the same price and lead time. You get stuff all over the place and you don't really know why. And there's this opacity that is within the manufacturing industry that's just, historically has been a challenge. And even for the manufacturers themselves, they're doing these RFQ responses and giving quotes back, and they're looking at their own internal capacity and other constraints, and they don't even know if they're going to win the job, right? Because they know that this is probably a competitive bid. So on both sides, both that buyer and supplier side, there's typically been this challenge up front. And on-demand manufacturing marketplaces like Xometry have really provided a strong solution for both sides of this, manufacturing world. So the people who need parts and the people who can provide those parts for those customers. What we do at Xometry is we provide a digital space, a platform in which a customer, a buyer, is able to put their technical data securely up on our site. It's a free site. You click, drag, upload your 3D files, for example, and get pricing and lead time instantaneously. And this pricing is based on the actual marketplace. This is market fair pricing that we use AI machine learning to learn. But what that means is there's no wait. It's just instant pricing, and I have actionable results that I can order. And what's so neat about that is it takes this long drawn out experience and it brings it to almost like ordering from Amazon or some e-commerce site for something that's custom, like something that may have never been created in the world. You're able to all of a sudden put this custom geometry up and get pricing out. So going back to like what type of customers are interested, it's a wide range of clients. These could be Fortune 100 companies that are looking to consolidate their supply chain and use Xometry as essentially this single source for supply chain management. We're the matchmaker. We have over 5,000 global manufacturers, including 3,000 domestic here in the United States, about 2,000 plus across Europe and Asia as well. And they use us because they could just put one vendor on their list, and all of a sudden they have access to over a dozen different technologies from molding to machining to 3D printing with just one supplier, and it's great for them. But there's also product developers, individual inventors who now have access to millions and millions of dollars of manufacturing infrastructure by uploading the 3D CAD file, and they could just get their what they need on demand. So these digital spaces actually lower the barrier to entry to advanced manufacturing while also giving work to those manufacturers who can do it best. So it's just this win-win situation.
On the side of this equation, for the engineering organizations, the client organizations, what are some of the other benefits they're seeing from using the service?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously the speed is so critical. Time to quote, time to respond, time to make a decision and go with it is just giant. And that's kind of the entry when you look at a digital manufacturing platform like Xometry, and that's what gets you hooked. The other thing that engineers realize usually after they start using Xometry is how much time they were spending trying to source and track the status of their order after it was ordered. And with our manufacturing platform, we kind of talk about we have the pizza tracker. Like, if you order a pizza, you know how you can see the status of your order. Since we are essentially dispatching, matchmaking with our suppliers on work that's won. It'll get awarded to a capable supplier who does work just like this. It's their sweet spot to that work, and they're able to digitally update the status of those jobs. And we have experts in supply chain management, experts in manufacturing, in all our different fields on Xometry staff who are able to work, troubleshoot, and create solutions that help build positive outcomes for their supply chain, getting work on time, to spec, you name it, without the engineers having to lift their phone. And it's just really remarkable. And I know this because in my past I was the engineer who was trying to get a lot of parts made of different processes, and juggling 5, 6, 7 projects at a time, calling vendors saying what's the status of my order, sending emails saying, hey, bumping this, what's going on here. And it's really remarkable how much time you actually consume versus what should be doing, which is product development, design, improving your processes. So that value add is just huge, but it's often unseen until you start using a digital manufacturing platform.
As you noticed, or as you noted before, you offer access to a whole range of manufacturing methods. So there's machining, 3D printing, injection molding. What are some of the ways clients can determine the best approach for a particular project, and are there features within Xometry or and the ways you work with your suppliers that help them sort of sort out what the best approach is for whatever particular part they're trying to make?
Yeah, so something we use a lot in our, especially because we have this web platform, is computational geometry. And we pair that with machine learning stuff that's happened in the past to help understand and predict what something should be or is likely designed for. If you have a project that's designed for CNC machining, there's a very high likelihood that when you upload it to Xometry site, it'll automatically default to that process. So, for example, if this was a HP Multijet Fusion project or a SLA project or a molding project, we have something called the process recommender, and the goal there is really to save you a click. To say, hey, I'm going to put you where we think the ballpark is, like where you're going to be. We don't necessarily know if this thing is aluminum or titanium, but we're pretty sure you designed this for CNC machining, and we help kind of bring you there when you're actually on the quoting site by just uploading that file, and this happens within seconds. And then from there, you can go and configure. And sometimes, if you're designed for CNC machining and you want something quick and just a fit check, you may change it to 3D printing or another method. But you have these options right in front of you, and we try to really help improve our interface. We also have experts on staff. I know if you're designing for sheet metal, you don't accidentally design for sheet metal. It's pretty intentional. Even machine parts, you usually have specs. The alloys. You're engineering that design. But I found that with plastics and 3D printing and molding, there's a lot of help me choose there. And you can actually reach out to Xometry, and we have internal experts that are able to kind of take a look and spin the CAD, maybe provide some design feedback as well, and help you choose the right process or material based on your goals. So we do have this access to this global marketplace, this automation or platform, but I think one of our superpowers is because we have so much automation on that side of things, we have time to spend and build these relationships with each one of our customers, and really help engineer solutions, especially when they're looking for larger, more complex projects. We can actually figure out the best methods to help them out.
Along those lines, what are some of the other challenges or misconceptions that come up when organizations are trying to use these services, and what ways do you guys sort of help address those challenges or answer those questions for them?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, when mentioning before that, we do have, we're humans. We're looking at this work. We're looking at design for manufacturability. Even after orders on CNC projects, for example, we're doing some work to ensure that the PDF drawing matches a CAD, to make sure that those things are to spec. So there's no uh-ohs at the end of the line there. So we do have humans on board to help improve those services and make sure that our customers are successful in the project. Their success is our success, and we want to make sure that happens. The other side of that is, this is a digital platform. What does that mean? Does it mean we only do rapid prototyping? Like what can you get out of this? And we can do so much. In fact, we actually have a lot of parts that we've made that are currently in space or in some sort of flight apparatus right now. We have parts that are used in medical environments. We work in all different industries, from automotive, aerospace, industrial, robotics. We're there because we have this platform, but this platform you could go and fully customize parts, adding features, finishes, inserts, part marking, bag and tag, certifications, traceability, CMM inspection. All that can just be a click experience, and you're able to add that on. Even if you have an export controlled item and you click ITAR EAR on our site, all of a sudden that files digitally secured to be on our EAR network, our ITAR network. So it'll all of a sudden like be tagged and meta tagged in the way in which it's handled through our entire ITAR network. And all this just happens automatically, but it gives you an amazing amount of configuration to get exactly what you're looking for on your manufactured project.
I was also curious. We've obviously had a kind of sort of a weird couple of years with the pandemic going on. Has that changed the way people use your services? Have you noticed that over in 2020, 2021, that the way people access this is different than it was before?
Absolutely. I think a lot of buyers, a lot of people who were sourcing and procurement, ran into an issue where their current supply chain was shut down, or they had to reach to suppliers that they had listed as backup that were also shut down, and there was disruptions all over the place. With a digital manufacturing platform like Xometry, it was business as usual. When you upload your file, you get your pricing, your lead times. You click buy and check out. What we're able to do then is we're able to access and look at that file, look at the specs of it. So, is it a brass turn part? Is it an SLA 3D printed part? Direct metal printed part, for example, and pair it with suppliers who do that work best. That have previous experience doing this work, to quality and on time. And our network is geographically dispersed. So if there's a geographic shutdown, if China shut down or if individual states were shut down during the pandemic, for example, we had solutions and they would just automatically matchmake. I think one of the phrases we used a lot during the time is that our network was self-healing. And we could do massive parallel capacity while still being very resilient to supply chain disruptions on a global scale, or like spotted throughout geographically. So it's a really, really powerful tool for these product development companies, for these suppliers, people who just needed to continue to work to actually do so.
It'll be interesting, certainly, to see how these use cases continue to evolve going forward now that we've had that experience. Well, that's all the questions I had today, Greg. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Brian, this is awesome. Always happy to be here, and thank you so much.
All right, great. Thank you for DE 24/7. This is Brian Albright, and thanks for listening.
Cheers.